Hey guys, Mack here, founder and game designer at Watchtower Gaming. I'm here with a quick preview of Studium No Exit. We're going to talk about some gameplay mechanics. Let's dive in. Okay, so to start off, we're going to look at inventory sheets. So this is the character inventory. It's right here. And we are going to equip the Sin Eater class, which we're going to play with today. So first thing I'm going to start with is our Sin Eater class card. It's this one right here. You'll notice that the Sin Eater has kind of a cool class ability. It's called Slay. And the Sin Eater automatically crits on one attack roll when they use this class ability. So I'm going to put that in the class section of our inventory. Next, we've got the weapon. Sin Eater likes to use a cleaver. They like sharp objects, so we're going to put the cleaver here in the weapon part of the inventory. We got utility cloak. Utility cloak is the armor that a Sin Eater will use, so we'll put that in the armor section. And we've got shiny and sharp. This is an accessory. Usually accessories are a little more accessory-like. This one actually is more of a weapon, so put that in the accessory section. First thing I see when I look at this is that the weapon has an attack, so we can use that as an action. Second thing, utility cloak, which is our armor, protects the body. It also protects the arms. So I'm going to mark on our character sheet right here the body, temporary hit points, and the shield section. I'm also going to mark the one arms temporary hit points in the arm section. Great. Our Sin Eater starts with 6 movement. Typically, our Sin Eater would have a couple of companions with them to help fight through this ward, which is a dungeon. But this Sin Eater is going solo, so we're gonna have them run all by themselves. I'm gonna grab my Sin Eater mini, this little guy right here. I'm gonna put him on the start section. All right, so typically, this ward that we are gonna dungeon crawl our way through is played with multiple characters. Today, I'm gonna only play with one just to quickly run through a demonstration with you. So I'm gonna start my Sin Eater here at the beginning of the ward. It starts with this long hallway board, and the Sin Eater has 2 options as they go through this ward. First one is they can investigate by moving towards a golden door marked on the boards and investigate a room. They can also perform an action. Right now, the only action our Sin Eater has is attack with his cleaver. Or they can just simply move and be done with their turn. So my Sin Eater is going to move and investigate. So all of the characters, as you can see on your character sheet, start with 6 movement. So this Sin Eater is going to move 1, 2, 3 spaces, and then he's going to investigate. Let me get this character sheet out of the way. And we're going to flip the top hall tile. So this is the first hall tile in the stack. We're just going to flip it over, and you'll see that there's gold doors on the different sides of it. I'm going to place the door adjacent to the door that I use to investigate. And because investigations automatically move your character 1 space in the room, I'm going to move the Sin Eater 1 space in the room. All right, now, depending on which tile you draw at what time during your ward, you'll get a different engagement card. So I'll have a sheet here, so over here, that I know that this pointing room, if I get this first, then I'll have engagement card number 3. I just happen to have this ready, so I'm going to pull that engagement card and I'm going to read it. These engagement cards will be the story throughout the course of play. So as you draw the engagement card and you read from it, the world will kind of shape around you. So this first engagement card is called Pain and Misfortune. I'll read it to you guys. 3 faceless statues surround an indiscernible ritual circle, their shrouded heads bent in observation. The unmistakable recognition of a fellow adept's screams pierces your soul as you see them splayed out in the center. And while you can tell you haven't met this person before, their expression makes it clear that they are experiencing a new depth of agony. This must be the sacred rite of enthrallment. You know this from your studies with the sparrows. Bearing witness, let alone intervening, can have dire consequences. Sometimes there is no right answer, and the only outcome is pain. The Studium makes sure of that. So this engagement card gives me 2 options that I can choose from in this particular instance. And up here in the top corner, you'll see it actually gives you the prompts. So it told me to read it first, then make a choice, and then flip this card. I've got 2 choices. I can choose to walk the path of the hero, and the text there says, whatever might be hiding in the shadows is of little concern. Saving a fellow adept is worth the risk. That's one option. I can also choose, I am content, I am the watcher. Having respect for sacred rituals would assure your safety, but at what cost to your soul? This colleague will not rest in peace. All right, so I've decided I'm content, I'm the watcher. I'm not gonna mess with this. So I'm gonna flip the card. And on the back side, you'll see there's 2 different outcomes depending on the option that I chose. So observing the sacred is the option that I chose. You watch from a hidden vantage point as the adept's skin begins to boil and pop, their primal screams echoing through your bones. A purple ethereal crown forms around their head, burning their hair. The smell of scorched skin is unlike anything you've experienced before. As the crown completes its formation, the screaming stops. The adept is now converted. What have you done? All right, so I made a pretty big choice on behalf of this person, and it looks like it spawned an enemy. So on this card, I see that there is a grid. This tells me where to place my character and the enemy. The bright red is at my enemy, so I'm gonna take one of these little Thrall miniatures, got right here, place them in the side of the room, and I can see from this grid where I need to place my miniature based on the large golden wall. This represents the wall that has the door that I entered through. So that back wall where I sit right now is where I need to be. I'm just gonna move my miniature 1 space over. That should be good. All right, it's still my turn. I moved, I interrupted my movement with an investigation. I still have a couple of movements left. In fact, it looks like I've got 2. And I know that because I'm allowed to interrupt my movement with investigation. I cannot interrupt my movement with an action, just with an investigation, but I do still have an action as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and move 1 step closer to this Thrall, and I'm gonna take a swing at him. Now I'm gonna go ahead and roll to attack. I've got my D11 here. This is actually a D12, but contains a 0 value. This is a fancy one. This isn't the one that's gonna be in the core game box, but this is the one I like to use for demos. So I'm gonna roll this, and I am rolling to hit with my physical attack. So I've got a speed of 2, so I'm gonna roll this twice, 1 for each number of my speed. All right, that is a 1, so that is a failure. I know that because I look over at the engagement card and my enemy has an armor class of 5. So that's not gonna cut it. But I've got another attack, so I'm gonna try and roll my second. That's a 2, that's also not gonna cut it. So 2 fails, looks like I did not succeed in either attack. That's it for my turn. Now, adversaries get to activate, and you can see what the adversary is gonna do based on what you have here on the right-hand side of your engagement card. So it looks like the adversary's got a speed of 5, a lot more than me. They've got an accuracy of 6 or higher, and they do 1 damage. So I'm gonna roll this 5 times against myself and hope that I don't hurt myself too badly. Okay, so that's a 9, so that's 1 success. We'll put that in success. It's an 8, also a success. Another 9. A 6, that just hits. And a 10. So it looks like I got pretty beat up that time. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll damage. These are my damage centered dice. You can see that they have 4 sides. These are D4s. And I'm gonna roll these 2 5 times total. 2, 2, 1. All right. All right, so I rolled arms and legs. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark 1 damage off of my character sheet over here. That's 1 down for arms, 1 down for legs. All right, 3 more damage to go. Okay, that's 1 body, 1 head. Great. 2 more. All right, 1 more. It's 1 body. There we go. All right. Okay, so that was pretty rough. I got pretty messed up. Okay, so I got pretty messed up there. One thing that I noticed is that this guy has a movement of 5. I have a movement of 6. So instead of hanging around and letting him beat up on me like he just did, our Sin Eater's just gonna make a run for it. So we're gonna go 1, 2, We're going to use our investigation. We're going to reveal the next room. Again, so I'm going to pull from the top of the pile, and it looks like I got house vein tile. So I'm going to place it right there so that the door is adjacent. Great. All right. Now, looking at my sheet, I already have it set up, but I know that if house vein is the second one, then my engagement card is this one that I have right here. So I'm going to go for that engagement. The Grim Omen. I'll also move my character since I investigated. One space in, free movement. All right. The Forsaken Ward has cold walls and long, dark hallways. You find yourself entering a severely deteriorated common space. Immediately before you is a faceless crow, unmoving and perched on a study table. Is it a grim decoration? You could swear there's some life in it, despite its horrible state. Choose. All right, so I've got a couple of options here. I can choose yeah, no. Avoiding this crow seems paramount. Instead, I move towards the portrait on the wall bearing plaques that read James, Henry, and Sybil. Or I can choose what an exquisite specimen. Upon closer inspection, the crow's feet are scant of epidermis, hanging from on the right side of his face is a pulsating. On the right side of his face is something pulsating behind its eye. Place your character in the center of the room. I'm going to say that I'm in for trouble, and I'm just going to go check out the faceless crow. It'll also get me further away from the thrall that's haunting me, so let's go ahead and do that. Lady Sybil greets you. Sybil Vane appears before you suddenly, interrupting your inspection of your surroundings. Seeing paintings around you of the Sybil that once was, the visage that stands before you bears scant resemblance. Long hooked claws and malformed spines protruding from her back. Left with no choice but to defend yourself from her aggression, you prepare for battle. Having only heard tales from the sparrows of the rare ferocity of a fully formed geist's survival isn't guaranteed. All right, so Sybil Vane is going to pop on top of me right here. There she is with her little crow on the shoulder. Okay, so I now have to, like I said, read the grid on the left-hand side to know where I'm going to place my character. The grid instructs me that I have to place my character here, and that Sybil does indeed go right there. Okay, we'll put Sybil, there you go. All right, so now I still have an action left. I can still attack. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to attack Sybil. So I'm going to roll my dice twice. 8. All right, so now here's the trick. Looking at the tier 2 adversary, it says that normal attacks are ineffective. I'm going to look at my chart. It doesn't look like I have anything to give me attunement. So my attacks, turns out they're not very effective. In fact, they don't do anything at all. So that's a bummer. I'm going to roll again to see what I would have gotten. It's not going to make much consequence to 2. I'm still screwed. All right, Sybil and the Thrall are going to take their turn. So when controlling 2 adversaries, you're always going to pick the one that's furthest away from you. In this case, it's the Thrall. So I'm going to take the Thrall, and I'm going to move him his full movement. That's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it looks like he's in range, so he's going to take 5 swings at me with his speed of 5. All right, so he's got a 1, 5, that's a miss. An 11, that's a critical success. Another 11. An 8, that's another success. We've got 3 successes. And a 3, that's a failure. All right, so 2 failures, 3 successes. Let's roll damage. So I'm going to roll these 2. That is 1 head and 1 foot. So I'm going to mark that off on my sheet. 1 leg damage, 1 head damage. And then I've got 1 more to roll. Not looking good. All right, that's 1 arms. All right, now Sybil's turn. She's going to take a swing at me as well. She's got a speed of 4, but she hits like a truck. Let's see how she does. Okay, so she rolls a 3. That's not going to do it. She has an accuracy of 6 or higher. It's a 10. That's definitely a success. It's a 1. That's a failure. And that's a 6. That's a fail. That is a success. She got 1 more? Yeah. That's a 4. So she's got 2 successes, 2 failures. Let's see what she does for damage. All right. So 1 to the legs, 1 to the arms. She actually does 2 damage, so 2 damage to the legs, 2 damage to the arms. That's 2 damage to the legs, 2 damage to the arms. I have a critical wound on both the arms and the legs. Now the legs, I only had 1 hitbox left, and she did 2 damage. That's okay. When it goes to critical wound, all the damage falls off, but if I get hit in either the arms or the legs again, I'm toast. All right, that's it for them. Now I get to have my go again. I'm gonna stick around and see if I can peel this Thrall off, but I'm gonna take my movement, 1, 2, 3, 4, to get behind him, and then I'm gonna take a swing at him. So I'm gonna roll twice. That is a 6. So that, his armor class is a 5, that'll do it. I'm gonna roll my second one first as well. It's an 11, that's a critical success. All right, so here's how damage will work for me. So I've got here these little player damage dice, and these apply to the weapon. So I can see from my gear cards, I've got a gold weapon, means I rolled a gold dice. All right, now I'll roll the first one, that was just a regular success. 2 damage, so that's a good hit. I'm gonna take these little blood tokens over here, I got them right here, and I'm gonna put them on my Thrall. I'll put it on his engagement card. And that is 2 of his 3 hit points filled. Great. All right, now I had a critical hit. That means I can roll 2 damage dice. So I'm gonna take these 2, I'm gonna roll them for my critical hit. Look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 4 damage. He had 3 HP to begin with. He has been sufficiently destroyed. So I could put more blood tokens on him, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna take them all off and take him off the board. All right, great. So I acted, I moved, that's it for my turn. Sybil's still on the board. She's probably gonna mess me up. So let's see what she does. All right, so looking at her card, it says she moves 3 spaces towards the closest adept or NPC, attack each adjacent. All right, so she's gonna move 1, 2, that's within her 3. She's gonna start to attack me. So I'm gonna get all these dice out of the way. Okay. So she's gonna roll with a speed of 4. So that's a 7, that's a hit. That's an 11, so that's a crit. That's another 11, that's a crit. And that's a 2. So she has 3 successes. Now, she's an enemy. Adversaries don't actually get any bonuses when they crit, but she's still rolling really well. So let's see what kind of damage she does. Again, she does 2 damage per hit, and I'm gonna roll these 3 times. So there's 1, that's in the head. That's 2, that's in the body. That's 3, that's in the head. All right, so the first one does 2 damage to my head. That puts me at critical. The second one did 2 damage to the body. Third one did 2 damage to my head. So this would mean that I would be at death's door. I had a critical wound in my head. I got hit again for quite a bit of damage. Now, typically, if we were playing full game, I would say that we would probably keep going by drawing a death tarot, seeing if I survive or not. But this seems like a good time to stop. I think you get a sense for just how dangerous the Studium can be. So this was a quick demo, talk through some of the combat, some of the game mechanics. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Love to hear them. Thanks, guys.